Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents Parakeets For Dummies, 2nd edition, by Nikki Moustaki, narrated by Callie Beaulieu. Publisher's Note: in this audio edition, you will hear references to tables and figures present in the print and ebook formats of the book. Introduction. Many people remember having a parakeet when they were a kid, and many kids and plenty of adults today either have one, want one, or will receive one as a gift. As a companion, the parakeet has it all. It's little enough for even the smallest apartment, is as affectionate as any lapdog, and can out-talk even the largest of parrots. What more could you ask for? About this book. Parakeets For Dummies is for people interested in parakeets. Whether you want to know more about parakeets before you acquire one, you have recently brought a parakeet or two into your home, you're a parent buying this book for your child, or you're a young person buying it for yourself. Maybe you want to discover the essential scoop on getting your new bird set up properly, as well as general care information. Perhaps you simply need a refresher on the best way to take care of your feathered companion, or want to understand it better and start some advanced training. Perhaps you're ready for a new bird, but aren't sure if a parakeet is right for you and your family. If any of this describes you, then you've come to the right place. As you read, keep an eye out for text in italics, which indicates a new term and a nearby definition. No need to spend time hunting through a glossary. And monofont points out web addresses for additional information worth checking out. You'll also run into a few sidebars, the occasional gray box. Although the information in the sidebars is good, it's not essential to the discussion at hand, so skip them if you want to. Foolish assumptions. In writing Parakeets For Dummies, I made some assumptions about my readers. You're one of the millions of people who wants a parakeet or has a family member who wants one or more, and you've come to this book to learn about their care and training. You already have a parakeet or 2 or 20, and you want to brush up on parakeet care and learn a few things that you don't already know. Maybe you're a volunteer at a parrot shelter or rescue, and you want to be able to educate your adopters more thoroughly. Perhaps you want to begin breeding these popular little birds and want some information on how to make that process go smoothly. Whatever the case, whether you're a newbie or a seasoned parakeet guardian, there's something in this book for you. Icons used in this book. While reading Parakeets For Dummies, be on the lookout for these icons sprinkled here and there. Tip: this icon flags tips and tricks that will help you be the best parakeet pal you can be. Remember, this icon points out information that's so important you'll want to be sure to remember it. Warning: this icon highlights information on things that could harm you or your parakeet. Technical stuff. This icon flags information that you can use to impress your friends with your amazing bird knowledge, but it isn't absolutely necessary, so don't feel the need to memorize it. Beyond the book. You can find a little more parakeet-related on dummies.com, where you can peruse this book's cheat sheet. To get this handy resource, go to the website and type Parakeets For Dummies cheat sheet in the search box. Where to go from here? Parakeets For Dummies is a reference, so you don't have to read it in order from start to finish. Begin with Chapter 4 if you need basic setup information. Flip to Chapter 7 if you're trying to learn parakeet ease, or head to Chapter 2 if you're still undecided about adding a parakeet to your family. Although, if you prefer to start at the beginning and read until you reach the back cover, you're welcome to do so. 1. Introducing the parakeet. In this part, finding out if a parakeet is perfect for you, preparing to bring your parakeet home, feeding your parakeet properly. Chapter 1. Parakeets, more than just pretty whistling birds. In this chapter, understanding what a parakeet is, telling the difference between the English budgie and the American parakeet, discovering the life of a wild parakeet. The word parakeet is a generic term for any smallish, slender bird in the parrot family that has a long, tapered tail. But when most people think parakeet, they think of the small, brightly colored bird common to most pet shops and to almost everyone's childhood. Parakeets are about 7 inches in length, with the English budgie at around 9 inches, and most of that length is taken up by the tail. This species, Melopsittacus undulatus, also called the budgerigar, budgie is its nickname, is found in large flocks in the grasslands of the Australian outback. The English budgie has the same Latin species name, even though it is much larger. Where parakeets come from. Parakeets arrived in Europe around 1838, brought from Australia by British naturalist John Gould and his brother-in-law Charles Coxon, who raised the first clutch, batch of babies. Europeans found that these birds were easy to breed, and wealthy people fell in love with them. They soon became popular in Germany, Belgium, France, and Holland. A yellow mutation occurred in Belgium around 1875, leading to other color mutations, including olive, dark green, gray-green. Companion parakeets were simply green, as they are in the wild, until around 1881, when a Dutch bird keeper found a blue chick hatched in the nest boxes. This blue bird was responsible for other mutations: cobalt, mauve, slate, gray, and violet. The parakeet arrived in America around the late 1920s, but didn't become popular as a companion until the 1950s. Today, there are hundreds of color mutations and variations. Even so, the most common colors are the most popular: green, blue, yellow, and white. The American parakeet versus the English budgie. Though the American parakeet and the English budgie both got their start in Australia, the American parakeet is more similar to its wild cousin than the English budgie. The English budgie is what hobbyists call an exhibition bird, or a show budgie, because it is often shown in large budgie shows, kind of like dog shows, but for birds. It's nearly twice the size of the American parakeet, and it claims its English name because the British, who received the exhibition-sized budgie from Western Europe, sent the exhibition budgie to America. The English budgie is basically domesticated, which means that it has been changed from its wild form using selective breeding practices. This kind of selective breeding, choosing to breed only the animals that have desired traits, so that the young will also have and pass on these traits to future generations, is what humans have done with dogs for thousands of years. Notice how different dog breeds look so dissimilar from one another. It's hard to imagine that they all originated from a couple of species of wild dog. Though no parrot is truly domesticated, the English budgie is the closest. Though technically called the budgie, the terms parakeet and budgie are interchangeable. Some people call the larger version of the parakeet the budgie and the smaller version the parakeet, but it really doesn't matter which term you use. For the purposes of this book, I refer to these little birds as parakeets. The basic differences are as follows. Size difference. The American parakeet is smaller, thinner, and more streamlined than its British counterpart. The English show budgie is stately-looking, with a full, prominent chest and forehead. Its eyes are barely evident, and its beak is tucked into the feathers of its face. It is 8.5 to 9.5 inches long, whereas the American is about 7 inches long. Temperament. The American parakeet is feistier than the English budgie and may be more active than its mellower cousin. Both birds are good companions. Whichever type you choose, you can tame the bird into a wonderful pal or keep a pair to watch and add some liveliness to your home. Lifespan. Lifespan is one of the primary differences between the parakeet and the budgie. The big English budgie lives about 7 to 8 years, and the American parakeet can live 14 years or more with proper care. The anatomy of a parakeet. Knowing your bird's anatomy will help you describe a problem to an avian veterinarian if you ever have to do so. You can also speak like an expert with other hobbyists. Here are the primary parts of your parakeet. Crown. The crown is the top of the head. Nares, nostrils. The nares are at the top of the beak. Cere. The cere is the fleshy area above the beak that contains the nostrils. It becomes blue in mature male parakeets and brown in breeding condition females. When parakeets are young, it's white to light pink. The cere is a purplish pink in males and a whitish blue in females, when females are not in breeding condition. Beak. The upper and lower mandibles, jaws, make up the parakeet's beak. The parakeet is classified as a hookbill, meaning that the beak is shaped like a hook and is perfect for cracking seeds and breaking twigs. Ear. Your parakeet has small, flat holes for ears, and they're covered by thin feathers that protect the ear. This is why you can't see them unless your bird is wet. Eyes. The parakeet's eyes are on either side of its head so that its field of vision is about 300 degrees. By contrast, a human's field of vision is about 120 degrees. This wider view of the world is because the parakeet is a prey animal and needs to be constantly on alert for predators. Parakeets, like many birds, have a third eyelid called a nictitating membrane, which is a thin, semi-transparent lid that washes the eye like a squeegee and closes for protection. Throat. The throat is just beneath the beak and extends to the breast. Nape. The nape is the back of the neck. Shoulder. The shoulder is at the top of the wing nearest the parakeet's back. Breast. The breast is just below the throat. Foot. Everything that most of us think of as a bird's leg is actually a bird's foot. That's why the knee appears to bend the wrong way. It's actually the bird's heel. The parakeet's foot is zygodactyl, meaning it has 2 toes in front and 2 in back, perfect for grasping and climbing. Vent. The vent is where your bird eliminates. In a human, this would be a combined anus and urethra. Birds' urine is not separate from their droppings. Urine is combined with the fecal portion of the dropping as a small, wet outer ring. Primary feathers. Parakeets have 10 long primary wing feathers that aid in flight. Secondary feathers. The secondary feathers on the wing occur after the primaries, closer to the body. Rump. The rump is beneath the primary flight feathers on the parakeet's lower back. Mantle. The mantle is the back area between the shoulders of the parakeet. Crop. The crop is a sac-like organ that's kind of like a first stomach. It's where the food goes immediately after being swallowed and is located at the top of the breast. Syrinx. The syrinx is equivalent to vocal cords in humans. It allows parakeets to talk and vocalize when air is pushed through it. Chapter 2. Is a parakeet your perfect companion? In this chapter, understanding what a parakeet will bring to your life, knowing what parakeets need from you, figuring out whether you and a parakeet will be a good match, becoming a two-parakeet household, understanding what is involved in breeding. If you're trying to decide whether to bring a parakeet into your home, you've come to the right chapter. Even if you already have a parakeet, this chapter has something for you, too. Here you'll figure out what to expect from a parakeet, from its bubbly personality to the dreaded messes it makes, and what your parakeet expects from you. I walk you through the challenges posed by children and companion animals, whether birds or cats or dogs. I also give you information on keeping more than one parakeet. Knowing what to expect from a parakeet. As wonderful as they are, parakeets are still considered wild animals, just as are all companion parrots. Though parakeets are about as close as a bird comes to being domesticated, other than the canary, they still have their quirks. Knowing what to expect from your parakeet, from personality to lifespan, will make your relationship with your bird better and stronger. A great personality. As with humans, each parakeet is an individual with its own individual personality. Some are sweet and affectionate, while others may always remain fearful or aggressive. What you receive from your parakeet depends a lot on what you put into it. In general, a kind, careful guardian can tame a parakeet into a loving companion. If you buy two parakeets that look similar, you may worry that you'll never be able to tell them apart. After you get to know them, you'll see that they have personalities of their own, likes and dislikes, different mannerisms, and different aptitudes for talking and training. Noise and talking ability. If you require an absolutely quiet home, then parakeets are not the bird for you. You're never going to prevent noise. They chatter, sing, and even talk for a good part of the day, though they do have their quiet moments. Fortunately, parakeets aren't loud, but they are persistently noisy. Just as beauty is in the eye of the beholder, loudness is in the ear of the hearer. Some people aren't bothered at all by parakeet noise, while others may be annoyed by the constant chirruping. Warning: a healthy and happy parakeet is quite noisy. Beware the silent bird. It may not be feeling well. Birds tend to hide signs of illness very well, so being quieter than usual is definitely cause for concern. Parakeets are excellent talkers. They can even out-talk some of the larger bird species. Parakeets can learn hundreds of words and phrases and say them clearly and interchangeably. Cocks, male birds, are more apt to talk earlier and more frequently, but hens, female birds, have been known to do their share of chatting as well. Companionship. One of the best reasons to get a parakeet is for companionship. Parakeets are affectionate companions and bond readily to any human who is patient and kind. Your parakeet may love to stand on your shoulder while you do your chores or watch television. He'll preen your eyebrows and sing into your ear. Tip: if you want your parakeet to be an affectionate companion devoted to you, keep just one. as long as you're able to pay a lot of attention to it. If you have less time to spend with a single bird, consider a pair. A pair of parakeets will keep themselves entertained and occupied, and you won't have to worry about your bird being home alone and pining for you. Mess and more mess. Birds are messy. You'll definitely be walking on a crunchy floor and perhaps even a bit of water to go with it after the parakeet has taken its bath. You may even find seeds growing out of your carpet. Yes, it has happened to me. Tip: acrylic cages do the best job of keeping mess at bay. More about this in Chapter 4. However, even if you buy all the seed-catching devices and all the hooded cups on the market, you are not going to prevent mess. Get used to it and love your bird all the more for being the imperfect creature that it is. A decade or more of life if you take care of the bird. Unfortunately, most parakeets only live a few years in the average home due to improper care and feeding, neglect, and accidents. But with the proper care, a parakeet can live 12 to 15 years. The larger English budgie, because of its specific breeding, tends to live to be only about 7 or 8, and that's an old English budgie. They may be able to live longer with exceptional care. Knowing what your parakeet expects from you. Your parakeet relies on you for all of its needs: proper housing, nutrition, playtime out of the cage, and safety. You're responsible for every aspect of its life. In the following sections, I let you know what your parakeet needs from you. But here's a short list of the basic things your parakeet needs. A clean cage. You'll need to clean the bottom of your parakeet's cage nearly every day, or your bird's waste will become crusty and turn into a fine dust, which your parakeet and you can inhale. This is not healthy. Once a week, clean the cage and the surrounding area more thoroughly. More on how to clean the cage in Chapter 9. Water. Offer your parakeet fresh water twice a day if you can, at least once a day for sure. If the water dish isn't empty, it shouldn't be anyway, throw out the remainder of the dirty water and replace it so that your parakeet always has a fresh water supply. Food. Provide and change fresh and cooked foods once a day. Just as with water, if your parakeet hasn't eaten all the fresh or cooked foods you gave your bird the day before, throw out the old food and replace it with the new. Uncooked foods like seeds or pellets can remain in the dish and you can just top them off. Note: you should change the water twice a day if possible, but you need to change the food only once a day. Playtime. Your parakeet needs safe playtime out of the cage every day, unless the bird is in a large flight cage at least 3 to 4 feet in length, or a larger aviary. Be sure to keep a close eye on your bird and on your other pets whenever your parakeet is out of its cage. Also, check your bird's cage and toys daily for wear and tear. Attention to his health. Your parakeet can't just fly out to the vet's office when it feels a little under the weather. You need to watch your bird closely for signs of illness and take it to the veterinarian if you suspect something is wrong or if your bird has an accident. Empathy. Your parakeet is relying on you for 100% of its care and its recreational activities. Keep in mind that your parakeet is a bird of boundless space that must live in a cage in a human home. Be sensitive to this, and give your parakeet enough outside time on your shoulder, in a closed room or a safe area of the house, or offer a large flight cage or aviary. A safe home. When you bring a parakeet into your home, you need to make sure it's a safe place for your bird to live. See Chapter 4 for more information on parakeet-proofing your home. Also, make sure that your parakeet's housing is away from drafts and that the room where it lives doesn't get too cold or too warm. In addition to these basics of bird care, your parakeet needs other things from you, covered in the following sections. A good home. Parakeets need as large of a cage as your space and budget can afford. If you can't buy a large cage, then save up until you can. A cramped parakeet will be quite unhappy. A parakeet's environment needs good lighting. It can be indirect natural lighting with some direct sunlight during the day, though the bird should always have half the cage in a shady spot where it can retreat in order to avoid sunstroke. Or you can use special bird lamps, which you can get at the pet shop or online. A clip-on lamp and a full-spectrum bulb meant for birds should keep your parakeet healthy. Ideally, the temperature in your parakeet's environment should be between 68 degrees Fahrenheit and 72 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius, and 22.22 degrees Celsius. Make sure that your bird doesn't get too cold or too warm, and that it has clean, fresh water at all times in hot weather. You can tell if your bird is too cold if it sits with its feathers fluffed up. If it is too hot, it will open its wings at the shoulder joint and pant with an open beak. If your home is below 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius at night, make sure to cover the cage to keep in the heat and keep out drafts. Chapter 4 offers some advice on how to keep your bird warm in the cooler months. Tip: before bringing your parakeet home, make a space for his cage in an area where he's bound to get the most attention. I like to place my companion birds' cages in an area where they can see me most of the time, like in a family room or living room. They get the added bonus of being able to watch television, and believe me, they like it. Your parakeet is unlikely to get a lot of attention in a garage, child's room, or patio. Time. Expect to spend at least 2 hours a day with your bird. Spend more time with your parakeet on the days when you have more time, but 2 hours is the bare minimum. That's a commitment of at least 14 hours a week, possibly more. Cleaning, feeding, watering, and playing with your parakeet all take time. You'll also spend time making arrangements for it when you go away on vacation, and you'll spend some time in the veterinarian's office as well. Warning: if you're thinking, "Oh, she's exaggerating, I'll be able to take care of my parakeet in fewer hours than that," you may want to ask yourself why you want the bird in the first place. Spending time with your parakeet, even doing the not-so-fun things like cage cleaning, should be something you enjoy. If you're looking for ways to avoid it, perhaps a bird isn't for you. Routine. In the wild, parakeets schedule their day around the sun. They understand the seasons and how to behave when water or food is scarce or plentiful. In nature, the same events happen day after day, year after year, and these birds are programmed to go with the flow. Tip: create a daily routine and try to stick with it. Your bird should know exactly when you're going to feed him, when you're going to clean his cage, when he's coming out for playtime, and when it's time for bed. If you keep a routine with your parakeet, it will eventually alert you when you've missed a step. If your life is hectic, just do the best you can. The good news is that parakeets aren't as fussy about a daily routine as some of the larger parrots. Deciding whether a parakeet is right for you. If you're still not sure whether a parakeet is right for you, thinking about who you're getting the bird for, yourself or someone else, like your son or daughter.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?